Okay, so today we're on 721. How can I find an equation, curve fitting, and fractional exponents? So we've kind of done some of this a little bit, but we're going to really hit on it today. But before we do that, let's do some review here. It says 779, find the equation on the line in y equals mx plus b form with a y-intercept 9 that passes through point 519. So this review is kind of good for what we're doing here. So we're going to look at the y-intercept as our b, and this is x and y. And so I'm going to plug all those pieces into y equals mx plus b. So y equals mx plus b. So 19 equals m times 5 plus 9, and then I'm going to solve. So that is actually 19 equals 5m plus 9, and then I'm going to solve for m, so minus 9 on both sides. So I get 10 equals 5m, and then divide both sides by 5. So m equals 2. So then my equation is going to be y equals 2x plus 9. So then it says, what is the general form of an exponential function? So this should be hopefully memorized at this point. Y equals a times b to the x power. And then what does a represent? The starting value or zeroth term, if you want to think about it like that. And then the b represents the multiplier. All right, so now let's get into it. It says, using a method similar to what you did in problem 779, find the equation of the exponential function at the right. So we've got our exponential function is y equals a times b to the x power. So what we're going to do is find the numbers that need to go in here based on this graph. So 7 is our a, so we already have that. And then b to the x. So now we've got to find b, and b is the multiplier, but it's not immediately shown here, so I'm going to write a table. We're going to do lots of tables today. So at 0, it's 7. 1 we don't know, 2 we don't know, but 3 is 56. So to get the multiplier, we have to go from 7 to 56. So I'm going to do 56 divided by 7. Gives us 8. So to get from here to here, it is times 8. But I need to know how to get from each step. So I'm going to take the 8 and go 1, 2, 3 hops. So I'm going to take the cube root of 8. So however many hops tells me what root number to do, and we'll look at that more today. So that is going to be 2. So I multiply 7 times 2. Is 14, 14 times 2 is 28, and 28 times 2 is 56. So to fill in my equation, I get y equals 7 times 2 to the x power. And then it says, what is the equation of the asymptote? And that's where you can't go below. And in this case, we cannot go below 0. So y equals 0. Okay, so then looking at 81, we're going to continue to do this kind of same situation. So it says, find the equation of the exponential function with an asymptote at y equals 0 that passes through those points. So again, I'm going to write a table, so x, y, and then whatever they give me. So 0, 5, 1, nothing, 2, nothing, 3, 320. Oops, I already have a line there. So my equation is y equals a times b to the x power. We already have our starting amount, so y equals 5 times b to the x. So then I just need to figure out my multiplier. So dividing 320 divided by 5, we get 64. So to figure out how many hops I have, I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to take the cube root of 64, and that is 4. So I multiply by 4 to get to each next number. And I really don't, I know I did up here, but I really don't have to do that to like multiply through to figure out my equation. So I'm just going to skip that and just say, hey, my multiplier is 4, so y equals 5 times 4 to the x. It doesn't hurt, though, to like actually multiply by 4 throughout to make sure you get up to 320. So then some more practice with this. A, it says find the equation. So y equals a times b to the x power. I'm going to pop my table in here. 0, 6, 1, nothing given, 2, nothing given, 3, 20.25. I think the visual helps with figuring out like how many hops you have. So I already know my starting value is 6, and then times b to the x. So I'm going to divide 20.25 divided by 6. We've been talking about this, but I'm going to bring it up again because I think this reminder is important. And people kind of mess this up sometimes. When you're going forward, you multiply. So to go backwards, we divide, and we know that, but we want to make sure we are going backwards with our numbers too. So 20.25 is on the top when we're dividing. So when you divide that, you get 3.375. So then we got to figure out, we've got 1, 2, 3 hops. So I'm going to take the cube root of 3.375, which becomes 1.5. So times 1.5. Our multiplier is 1.5. So y equals 6 times 1.5 to the x power. Pretty easy, not a lot of crazy work going on, but what if your number changes in the number of hops? So again, this next one, it says find the equation for the point 0, 2, and 7, 32,768. So it's going to be a bigger table, so we got to make sure we have room. 0 is 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then 32,768. So for this one, the hops are bigger, but we'll deal with that in a second. So y equals 2 times b to the x. So I'm still going to divide the same. So 32,768 divided by 2, that's an 8, sorry. And that's going to give us 16,384. And then we got to figure out how many hops. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 hops. So I'm going to take the 7th root. So I guess when I get back, I will show you guys on the calculator. Just remind me to show you how to do it correctly on the calcs. But it should be nearby the square root button. There's just like an X on it for the yellow calcs. So then when you put that in your calculator, you should be getting 4 as your answer. So you're just multiplying by 4 every time. So y equals 2 times 4 to the x power. So now the next one doesn't start at 0, but we got this down, okay? We know what we're doing here. Done this a lot. So x, y, -1, -2, 0, 1, 2, and then at 3 is -162. So we don't have our starting value yet, we just have -1. So first, let's figure out what our multiplier is, and then we'll get the starting value using that. So -162 divided by -2, make sure you're careful about those negatives. You're going to get positive 81. So then to figure out the hops, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 hops. So I'm going to take the 4th root, and that is going to give me 3. So I multiply by 3 to get to the next number. So -2 times 3 is -6. So now I have all the numbers I need. Y equals -6 times 3 to the x power. Pulled that -6 and that 3. All right, the next one, it says find the equation, and then it's giving you the points. So we're doing the same stuff here. So let's write a table. Oh, we go all the way up. So I'm going to do it over here, see if I can get it to fit. But we need to go backwards to 0 also. So I'm going to put 0, 1, 2, 3, 32, 4, 5, 6. That's a lot. Okay, I can erase some of this. So I've got 6 is 256. So I gotta be careful because I added to my table and I don't want to like add extra spaces when I'm counting. Oh, sorry. So do 256 divided by 32 as we were doing before. So that's going to be 8. And then I'm going to figure out how many hops between those numbers. 1, 2, 3. So there's going to be the third root of 8 is 2. So take a second to do that if you need to. So that means we're multiplying by 2 to get to the next number. So to go backwards to get to 0, I'm going to divide by 2 each time. So 32 divided by 2 is 16. 16 divided by 2 is 8. And 8 divided by 2 is 4. I know I'm kind of blasting through this, but this is something you can just pop into the calculator, dividing by 2. So then I've got my multiplier and my 0th term, and I'm just going to write in my equation. Y equals 4 times 2 to the x. And then just if you're like struggling to remember which goes first, your multiplier or your starting value, I like to think of it as a 0 term instead of starting value, because then it kind of like makes me remember like this is point 0, like this is where we start. Or you can think of it as starting value, and that's where you start. That's what goes first, and the multiplier is just what's after it. All right, and then the next one is kind of giving you a situation here. It says Lenny and George are still raising bunnies. After 6 months, remember those beans that we were making bunnies and like the growth from a while ago? I think that was before break. I can't remember. After 6 months, they have had 1,458 bunnies. After 10 months, they have 118,098 bunnies. How are the bunnies multiplying each month? So we need to make another table. This one's going to be really long too. So 6 months and 10 months. So we need 0 all the way up to 10. I don't think I'm going to have room. I'm going to do it on this side over here. Should have probably gave you guys more room on here. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, ooh, 9, and then I'm just going to put 10 over here to make it fit. I'm sorry. So 10 was 118.98, and then 6 months was 1,458. So I still need to divide 118.98 divided by 1,458. So when I do that, that's going to help me figure out multiplying from here to there. So now I need to count how many hops it is to find the actual multiplier between each level, or in this case, each month. So 1, 2, 3, and then don't forget that's our 4. So 4th root of 81 will get us our multiplier, which is 3. So I multiply by 3 each time. So then I need to go backwards to get the 0. So 1,458 divided by 3. So 1,458 divided by 3. 486. I'm going to just make this a little bigger here. 486 divided by 3, 162. Maybe, can I go any, but there we go. And then divide by 3 again, 54. Divide by 3 again, 18. Divide by 3 again, 6. And then divide by 3 again is 2. So they started with 2 bunnies. And it multiplied by 3 each month. So the equation would be y equals 2 times 3 to the x power. All right, hope you have time for your homework.